Hello everyone, my name is Giorgio Catucci, everybody calls me Joe, and here is my leadership nugget. Something that I learned over the many years of work experience. We usually refer to leadership as a role with an authority, whether it's a senior manager or someone in the C-suites or even a team lead. But there is more than to it. You can be a leader without authority. And this is something that I learned firsthand myself when in 2012, I chose to become the head of corporate responsibility exactly because I wanted to learn how do you lead 1,400 people from 27 nationality in a 24/7, 365 days operation, and yet nobody reports to me. And it's a different style of leadership. And in fact, I remember the first year I became a leader, the employee opinion survey about corporate responsibility actually dropped 6 percentage points. And that taught me how to rethink and approach leading people without authority to empower them and mobilize them towards a common goal and a common vision. Because, leading by authority, let's say it's easy in the sense that at the end of the day, people had to follow your direction because you're the boss. But when you lead without authority, then convincing people to follow that direction, it's a lot harder. But if you master that skill, and then you can transfer back to a leadership role with authority, then you're really a leader and you're no longer a manager. I always say when I was in charge of implementing a new finance system in Latin America, and I started with a few countries, and then I was managing. And my boss told me, you can't do that for 50 countries. You need to let your team go. You need to learn to lead them, give them a clear direction, and so on. And was a very tough shift of mindset for me. It took me about 3 months, to be honest. But then I always said that my greatest accomplishment was being able to leave the project, hand it over to my team to finish it so I can go do something else in my life. So for me, I always make a distinction between a leader and a manager. And a manager tends to tell people what to do, and sometimes even how to do it if you are in a lower level of the pyramid, let's say a team lead. And that's normal. As you move up the ladder and there are more people below you, and more middle management below you, then you should shift more from managing to leading. And to me, the definition of leading is now, don't tell people what to do, don't tell people how to do it. Tell them to a certain extent what needs to be done, but what is important is what are we trying to achieve? Right? What is the end goal? What is the vision? When you lead with authority, because you have the title, you are the manager of the people, there is the natural tendency of people eventually following you because that's your order, or you are seen as the person with the authority, right? And as a leader, then you start wondering, are the people following me or the cause? And this was one of the most important thing that I learned when I chose to become the leader of corporate responsibility. Because when you lead without authority, it's about motivating and mobilizing people towards a cause. And what was important for me is that they still followed the cause. In fact, I used to tell the site manager, the success of my achievement will be measured not when I'm the head of corporate responsibility, but the day I step down. So for me, it was always important to be seen not as the people who the people follow, but I wanted to be seen as the one that is encouraging from behind the people to follow a cause. Because if that is true, the moment I step down, the system will stand up and will still continue, and then you have sustainability.